farmer that I describe as the fickle farmer. Now, this is for people who, you're an idiot. You don't lose the confidence in your competence. You know what you can do. You know what you want to do. You plan it out. You write it out. You strategize it out. You vision board it out. Your quarterly strategy it out. Your monthly strategy it out. Your weekly strategy it out. And when the day comes for you to do the work, you don't do it. Right? Or you do it in a fickle manner. So you are not committed to a particular process, routine, habit. You do something today and you're inconsistent, you stop it in a 1 week if it is boring, if enough people now clap and cheer feet, if it not excited every single time, you don't want to do it. The drudgery of it turns you off, and so you're always looking for the exciting interaction, the exciting interruption to cause you to move in directions that are not essential to the work and the goal that you have visioned and strategized around. So I don't want you to leave just yet. If you may talk to, don't move. Don't feel away. I'm not going to rough you up too much in this live, right? But stay with me. If you are the kind of person who you have the goals sketched out fully, you see the vision, you see the tactics, you see the approach, but what you lack is the discipline and the consistency to keep doing the right things at the right time, over time, so that, as Darren Hardy writes in his book, The Compound Effect, the effects can compound. You don't give your habits and your actions an opportunity to build themselves up, to snowball, to grow in energy, impact, momentum, so that it can knock over the set of goals and where you set up. So you accelerate for 10 on the pedal, and you step on the pedal and you go 10, and then the next time you say, I go 20, and then you go 30. But the other day comes and you're kind of bored with pressing that pedal, you know. I go 30 every day. I need to find out, maybe I should change cars, maybe I should change lanes, maybe I should change route, maybe I should change activity. Why cars? Maybe I should fly a plane. And you're just all over the place. There is no consistency, there is no commitment, there is no discipline to get the results that you want. So you don't have a problem of lack of faith in your ability, you know. And you might tell yourself that because it allows you to soothe the actual scar, because the habits that we develop come out of experiences that traumatize us in some respects, right? So, and I'll go into some of those areas where your consistency bites you in the butt, and so you're afraid to go back to consistency, right? I'll talk a little bit about that. But there are things in our lives that happen that teach us certain lessons, or we pull the lesson from it that we want, right? And so, I mean, one of the lessons you have pulled is that you don't have to stay upon one thing too long. So you jump around and you do all kinds of other things, and you don't spend time on the essential action so you can get the essential outcomes and accomplish the goal. And that is your problem. You're not consistent, you don't stay with it. You start in January, it make it through halfway February, and by March, I don't know what to do, and things aren't working out, and I feel like I should just change direction, and you know, maybe this is not my calling. And remember, you sit down, you sketch it out, you pray over it, you strategize it, you see it, you know. But you have really gotten bored. For some of us, it's not a question of God never ordained it. It is we do not want to submit ourselves to the discipline that is part of the ordainment, if one word goes so, of the task, the journey, the purpose. It is ordained, but under that special touch and guidance, there is some discipline required. There is some discipline required. And we don't really want the discipline. We can't bother with that. You know, we need to be a free spirit, and we need to be able to choose, and we need to express ourselves and just explore. Okay? You better find a part in the calendar where you do exploration. Because if you want to accomplish your goals, the kind of Christopher Columbus approach then not gonna work, where you tell yourself, say you're going to the east and end up running west. It's not gonna work. If at east you're gone, if at east the purpose to carry you, you can't allow yourself to be blown from side to side because of your fancies and your feelings. That feeling of being bored and needing something more exciting, that is not where discipline lies. That is evidence of indiscipline, where you know the right thing, but you're looking for the novelty all the time. And so you abandon the good routine, system, habit, practice, discipline. You abandon it for the novelty, for the thing that is trendy, for the thing that everybody else seems to be doing, the thing that other people are getting recognized and celebrated for. You trade up the purpose because you're trying to do what is popular, or you trade up what is going to ask discipline from you. It's going to require discipline from you. So you can do the thing that is fanciful, and as I said, offers you novelty and a sense of newness. Whatever you are trying to build, if you intend for it to stand the test of time, we call it oaks on the success farm. When we set up goals every quarter, we call it the oak strategy. Me know so we can grow grass, you know. There are some things, especially if you are in the zone of a fickle farmer, where you're talented beyond reason. Anything what people give for you can do it good. You know what your best is, you know. But all if you do, you barely. People go, wow, that's so impressive. So you know where you can get away with. You can do halfway, mediocre, subpar, and still impress other people. So you can get away with mediocrity. If you're the kind of person who naturally does well at things, you are the one that is most likely to get caught pursuing the novelty and the feeling of newness, trying to follow what the trends are, because you know that no matter where you go, some good are going to go on. It's just the kind of hand where you have. It's the kind of blessing where you get, where you can spin everything and turn it into something will look good for other people. But deep down, you know that that is not the fulfillment of the purpose. That's not what you're ordained to do. It's just easy. So that you're picking the ordinary outside of what is ordained. What is easy versus what is exceptional and will lead you to excellence. So if you're one of them talented persons, and that used to happen to me, that's why we can talk about it so clearly. There are some things where I don't have to think 2 times to do it and do it properly. In fact, I can do it at standards that exceed excellence with very little effort on my part. There's just some things where I know say, I can just do it. Not that I can do it in my sleep, but it doesn't take an overextension of myself to get it done and get it done very, very well. I know that. And other people recognize that in me as well. And so they would invite me to go east, west, north, south. And I feel like it costs me nothing because I'm doing well and I'm getting the recognition. I'm getting the wins. I'm getting the celebration and the acknowledgement of good work. I'm seeing the fruit of my labor, right? So it don't really feel like it costs me anything. But as I thought about it over time, I realized it was costing me the most precious thing I had, which was my focus and my time. When I split my focus doing things that are not a part of my calling and my purpose, when I spend time doing actions that are not essential to the goal that I actually want to accomplish, I slow down myself in the pursuit of the big actual purpose-based goal. I delay my own progress, I delay my own success in the area where God sent me to fulfill and do some work, you know. So I recognize that as a hazard for my talent in certain spaces. Yeah, man, Krystal will be a good person to do that. No, man, when I think about this, immediately Krystal comes to mind. And because you want to, one, nourish those relationships, and you want to serve people with your talent, you say yes. And 2, which was the crux of it for me, it never felt like it cost me anything because it was so easy to do. But in doing that, it delayed the purpose work that I was supposed to do. And so for much of my 20s, I would consider myself a fickle farmer. It's when I got to about 27, I said to myself, no man, yeah, me can do this and do that and do it well, but what if I focused on certain key talents and unique contributions that only I could make? And that's where keys started to turn for me. That's where I thought it possible to even think about entrepreneurship, because I was pursuing the thing that was my unique calling. And so that too is easy, you know, manifesting the skill and turning it into something. But of course, entrepreneurship is very, very hard. So I'm learning, even as I'm doing something that comes naturally and is aligned to my purpose, there are new skills that I have to amass, new trainings, new experiences that must teach me and level me up, right? But I had that as my reality, especially in my 20s. When you had all the energy and youth is on your side and it's just opportunity and the world is just a big open book for you to explore and to gallop through the fields of sunflowers, right? Yeah, that was my challenge. And I had to rein myself in now and ask, what is the essential outcome I am looking for? Because if you continue to do the things that are ordinary, the things that are easy, the things that it don't take a lot of work and thought and time to do, but it also is not aligned to the calling, it's not pulling you towards the essential outcome that you want, you're going to live a life peppered with moments of regret. Because if I didn't know, I shouldn't waste so much time and da-da-da-da-da. The fickle farmer wastes resources. You see, the faithless farmer don't even use the resources, which is in itself a form of waste, right? The faithless farmer doesn't do any work. The fickle farmer is working, but they are working in a very inefficient way, so that they are wasting the resources that they have, wasting their talent, wasting their focus, wasting their time, and come out at the end of a year. Tell me if this is you. Don't come out for the life if it's you. The year done, you feel tired and you don't have nothing significant to show for it. You could have accomplished all the way accomplish without being so tired. You never have to so tired to do the things them where you look back and say, yeah, I'm do this, I'm do that. You never have to so tired to do it. You spent a lot of time and energy pursuing things that did not deserve the time and the energy, because there was some purpose work for you to do that you just did not do. If it's you, don't come out for the live. Are you may I talk to tonight? Let me see if I missed any questions or comments. I tell you, sometimes this thing gets stuck on the last comment, like a comment that was like 10 minutes before. It doesn't scroll up, so I miss some of the comments sometimes. I think I'm up to speed now. Just sends them a thumper in our back. Yeah, if it's you are talking to, stay with me, because there's a way to work around that. But we have to recognize. Is that Sean or Shane? Forgive me. Words like how is the initials you have. But greetings, SGB. Yeah. When you're the kind of person that is very, very talented and you can get away with a little bit and people make it look like enough, you can get pulled into that current of mediocrity, and that current pulls you away from your purpose work. It happens to the best of us, and that's why we say it is fickle, because you're not committing yourself in a disciplined way to the essential work that you have to do. And here the psychology of it now. I'm going to talk some science to you now. There's something called the Zeigarnik effect. So when you start something and don't finish it, your brain holds that in short-term memory and continue to remind you, say, you're not do this yet, you're not do this yet, you're not do this yet. And until you do it, that thought will interrupt any kind of work that you're doing, because it is unfinished and your brain is pursuing completion. Your brain needs it for wrap up. Your brain are really like loose ends. Your brain can't survive on things that are constantly started and never done. So a fickle farmer has to master the art of completion. It's a requirement that when you start something, you have to finish it. Otherwise, it possesses you, even as you are entertained and consumed by something else. You feel like you forget something. You know, you accomplish a task and you say, why this not feel? And the more you think about it, you realize that there was something that you had planned to do, tip your toe in the water a little bit, begun to pursue, didn't finish it. And your failure to complete the thing, and sometimes it's the most important work, you know, we get up, left it. You start it, and this is the thing you're supposed to do, but as I said, the novelty wear off, the newness wear off, you're bored of it. You see some other things over there, so where dazzle your eyes. Some people are invited to come do something that has never been done before, and you get up, left what you're supposed to do, and can't do that. It's not bad work, you know, but the way your brain works is that you will continue to feel dissatisfied, distracted, uneasy, and eventually stressed out, because the brain is telling you that there is so much to do. There is so much to do because there are so many things you have started and not finished. Imagine you go through an experience that caused you to learn critical wisdom, and you say, you know, this experience is not wasted. Nothing I go through is wasted. Let me write this down in a book of poems. Let me write this in a book of affirmations. Let me write it as a book itself, you know, a non-fiction work to explain this part of my life. And you start the book and you don't do the book. And you've gone on to do all kinds of other things. But there's something inside of you that keeps telling you this thing that you started is important work and purpose work and valuable work that only you can finish. Nobody can come done this, you know, you have done it, you know. But you got up, you left it and moved on to some other thing that was pretty and interesting and loud enough to call your attention to it at the time. You can't be a fickle farmer and expect to accomplish your goals. You have to be disciplined, and a part of the discipline is completing the things that you start. Now, as I said, the brain is going to remind you about what you start and don't finish. Sometimes that's a good thing. So it's part of the science that informs the Pomodoro technique, where they tell you don't sit down for 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 2-3 hours pursuing a particular task, because after a while your brain gets exhausted and needs to pause. So the Pomodoro technique is built on that Zeigarnik effect concept in psychology, where you go for about 30 to 40 minutes, you stop, you interrupt yourself in the work, and you go do something else. Maybe you go take a walk, you go pour some juice to drink or a cup of water, you take up the phone, you call your mommy, checking on somebody who, of course, is going to pour some positive vibe on you. You don't want to pause and distract yourself with negativity and anxiety building tasks, right? That's not the goal. But you pause and then you come back to the task. They recommend it when you're studying as well, that you're supposed to take breaks, because that is how the brain works, especially when you're trying to understand a very difficult concept, formula, principle, right? You read it, you reread it, you triple read it, you still not get it, pause and go do something else. And the brain, because the brain knows it not get it yet, the brain is still hanging on to it, chewing it over, poring over it, until it feels a little more comfortable, until something clicks. And it's when you're doing something completely unrelated to the task you were trying to master that you get your aha moment, because the brain benefits from the break. So that Zeigarnik effect is in full effect when you move on to do another task. So you pause the important work, just for a little, but you know you're coming back to it. Your pause is a deliberate, purposeful, productive pause. And I want waste time, distraction pause, a productivity pause. You move to do something else and your brain chip and say, bam, got it. And you say, backside, look how long me I think about this, and I write this, so I sit down, I play domino, I write this, so when I do this, it come to me. Zeigarnik effect is part of the process in the brain that allows it to continue working and thinking through this thing, because it's incomplete. So it is good in some regards, but another time it's like a dopey haunt you. It's like a monkey on your back. You can't sleep, you're miserable, you know you're miserable for. You're getting things right, but you can't enjoy it, you can't feel successful, because it just feels like there's a missing piece. Like, why we can't find fulfillment here? And sometimes when we pause to reflect on what has been going on, what was the thing that I was doing before I started doing this thing, you'll find that there's a loose end, a thing that is incomplete. Sometimes it's just a conversation we never done, and it's still in your spirit and you're not comfortable until that conversation is resolved. And other times it is work, purposeful work, that you have paused to pursue the thing that is popular, that is easy, that is mediocre, that is a distraction. So you can't be a fickle farmer. And if you want to take on 2022 with a different energy and get some different results, and you know, so your problem is not envisioning what you have to do, and planning out what you have to do, and having the skills where you have to, and surround yourself with people you need to surround yourself with, and building up. And you're challenged that, you have all of that, and you've always had all of that. But what you lack is the consistency. What you lack is the discipline. What you lack is the stick-to-itiveness to complete the task. Make sure that the little bit of action we're boring and feel like drudgery over days and weeks and months, you continue to do it, and it build up what Darren Hardy calls the compound effect. It's a book I'm putting back on the Success Farm book list this year. It's one of the first productivity books that I read, and when I tell you, it opened my spirit, opened my heart, opened my mind. Every time I feel like I must stop doing something because, this is getting boring now, I have to go back to the purpose, the vision, the strategy, and realize that if I'm doing the right thing, you reap what you sow, right? And you eat by the sweat of your brow, right? So if I plant the thing, I may service the seed the right way. What is this spirit where I come over me and I tell myself to stop? To abandon the work I do in my garden and go plant something else, or go fast in somebody else's garden? What is that energy? It is about to cost me my compound effect, my compound interest. I may not give up my interest, make me continue putting on my little, putting on my little, until it flourishes. And it's a must. It's a law of the harvest, is a law of nature. Whatever you do, whatever you plant, whatever you sow, you're going to reap it. You're going to reap it. There's no going around it. If an apple seed you put it on the ground, an apple tree will come up. Don't expect a pear tree. Now, does it mean you will live to eat off that apple tree? Maybe not. Perhaps what you have planted, someone else in a future generation, your children or people in your community, your family, will eat from the apple tree. But whatever you sow, that is what you will reap. So when me a sow now, I say, boy, maybe I forgot sow something else. Every time I feel that othering, I have to come back and center myself and say, hold on, what is that? Is this a clue that I am not doing my purpose work and I should go to pursue the purpose work? I'm going to check myself and I say, yeah, this is some distraction work where you take up and you steep yourself in the distraction work, and this is your energy, your spirit, your solar plexus. I tell yourself to stop do this and go back to the purpose work, and so I move. But if when I pause and I reflect, I realize, I say, no man, I work this is what I'm supposed to do. I work what I'm supposed to do. So why am I being guided now to stop doing it and go and do something else? Why am I about to abandon my harvest and give up my compound interest? I have to remind myself about the power of the compound effect and keep doing the work. All when it's boring, all when you can't tell people about it, all when nobody not see it, all when people are see it and a laugh and fight, all when you can't get a trophy, an award, keep doing the work. It compounds. Everybody who you see on a big stage right now, named for some big accolade and award, building name after them, this year name after them, there is work that they did in the background that got them into the spotlight. So you can't stop doing your work because you don't see the spotlight yet. Keep doing the daily work. Stay disciplined. Don't make indiscipline take you up out of your garden. Don't make indiscipline cause you to lose out on a harvest that is sure to come. Stay disciplined. So the Zeigarnik effect is one psychological experience that we go through because we have things left incomplete. And so it calls us back to that act of completion and discipline, focused work on the task, fixity of purpose until the work is done. But there's another psychological tool at play for some people who seem averse to discipline. I mentioned earlier in the live that you may have gone through something that you pulled a lesson out of to tell you that, boy, it don't make sense to spend too much time doing certain things because it not pay off, the risk too high. You know, you can't have your eggs in one basket. While in principle that is true for your, things like your money. You don't want all of your rainy day funds to be under one umbrella. I have something wrong with that one umbrella there. All of the funds wash away. Good principle. But something may have happened to you that caused you to call upon that principle. To tell yourself so you have to split your energy and split your focus and split your work and split the egg them because anything can happen. I'm going to ask you a question. You don't have to answer me in the comments, right? But I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever spent a lot of time doing something, invested a lot in it, and lose? If you've ever said to yourself, if I come exam one, but I can't stay focused, I need 6 business and 13 this and 12 that. If you're one of those persons, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever invested a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, a lot of money, sacrificed quite a bit to create something, to build something, and lose it? It either fails or it is lost by someone taking it away from you. That could be a relationship. That could be a business. That could be your finances. Could be some project that you worked on at work. But you spend time on it. Enough blood, sweat and tears you put in it. You plant and you never get to eat the fruit of what is to be reaped. Because in many instances, the tree bearing up. But for some reason, you couldn't taste the fruit of it and it leave you with a bitter taste in your mouth. And you say to yourself, me never make that happen to me again. Before I make that happen to me again, I have this, that. So let's go back through some of the examples. For some of us, it's a relationship. You spend 10, 15, 20 years in it and you expect that something that will happen. Or you never know say something will happen and then you get the news. Or you realize, say, the outcome we are look for now reach it, now forward. And that separation has to happen. You say, me not commit myself to one person ever again. Me have several pot on fire because you never know when whatever. And so you lock yourself out of a healthy monogamous relationship with somebody, right? Could be your finances. You made a big investment in something. For some of us, it might have been cash plus. For others of us, it could have been something with Mr. Stanford who ended up in prison. Some other investment opportunity where you put your money in and you lose the nest egg, you lose the lump sum, you lose the college fee, you lose your spouse house, you lose your car, you lose your money, you lose, and you say to yourself, me not invest no money again. Underneath my bed it go, under my mattress. Because you never know. The worst thing I'm putting my money under my mattress is that termite eat it or ants near it or rat dry to it. But I prefer that because I can't. I said the last time I said I lose how much in this and how much in that. And so instead of using it as a lesson around how to invest money, what red flags to look out for, what safeguards to build around that investment, you say I invest again. An investment, we know, is one of the best and surest ways for people who don't have a lot of assets up front to generate that. You know, buying stocks in companies and things like that. Could be a business partnership, relationship project. You and your friend team up to work on something and you and them a work on it, and one document where you never did remember to sign or know to sign, and then pack up the whole of the business and the profit and the potential and gone with it. And you who were a core and foundation creator in that process can't eat the fruit of the labor. So you say to yourself, me not start a business again, business not my thing. Me not gonna no partnership with nobody else because I can't trust people. Me, no sir, I prefer work with people and then no sir, my paycheck show because me can't take the risk of If that has ever happened to you, Sandelicious said them still owe me. Who still owe you? Who still owe you? If that sounds like you could be suffering from the trauma, the disappointment of having invested a lot in something and lost, and so you are averse to and you resist anything that require you to stay upon it too long, and so you can never access the compound effect because you haven't forgiven yourself for mistakes you've made before. You haven't forgiven the people who have caused and led you into that particular space of loss, and you actually don't trust yourself anymore, your judgment to make good decisions, because that one decision makes you feel like your competence is compromised. But for others of us, we not left the situation yet. That extraction that needs to happen has not yet happened. So you are still in that 10, 15, 20 years, 10, 15 million in. You're still inside of it. And you realize that it's not bearing fruit, but you still can't let it go because of what we call the sunk cost benefit. Because I've put so much in this, I'm going to just go and put some more in there, because if I stop now, I'm going to lose all of what I put in, so I might as well keep putting. It's a bias triggered by our aversion to loss. We don't want to lose nothing, especially if we lose enough things before. This thing I always spend a lot of time working on, already it now work, we don't want to lose it. And so we keep pouring our resources on it. And spiritually, we know that it is not going anywhere. We know it is not blooming, we know it is not blossoming, we know it's not going to flourish, we know that there is no success, no harvest that will be sweet to devour that is coming out of this effort. But we have that aversion to loss. So instead of, as them say, stand the losses, you know, just let the chips fall where they may, cash out where you are, and just accept whatever has been lost so you can start anew. Because you can't conceive of losing, you stay there investing time that you really don't have, more resources that could be put to better use, more focus that is really required for some other projects and relationships and work. And so when you think about the need to commit to another thing, because you're still in this unhealthy commitment, you can't conceive of this other thing that requires your focus. Because you don't get beaten from that one, you're weighing a Lego yet, so the beating is consistent and it's a constant reminder of how you are currently losing. but you don't have the courage to let it go, and you can't imagine doing this again with another thing, whether it is business, work, relationship, product, whatever, partnership. You can't imagine doing this again because you have this constant reminder of the loss that is not going away, the loss that you continue to lose from. You not let it go. And so you can't even open up your hand to receive a new thing. That sunk cost benefit has eaten up so much of your time, talent, focus, and confidence that you can't, because your hand is tightly wrapped around it still. Can't afford to lose it. So let me just stay so you're not able to open hands and receive something else. I saw something on my timeline yesterday. It was from Michael Todd. He was doing a sermon on balls. He had some balls in his hand, some beach ball, basketball, tennis ball, and kind of balls. And he was saying that some of us are praying for something from God, but what God is asking us to receive, and them still full, so we're not in a space to take it. And if you're gonna take this new thing that you say you want, you have to go release some of them, drop the ball. And it's hard to do because you've spent so much time on this ball. It is such an important ball. It is such a pretty ball. People love to see you with the ball and the ball and the ball and the ball. You just let it go. You just, yeah, buy one. And you don't get much fulfillment from having it, but you've had it for so long, kind of afraid to depart and divorce from it. But there's something greater that life wants to give you, something better that you yourself long for and pray for all the time, but you refuse to release. You refuse to release, and that causes cognitive friction for you, emotional friction, spiritual friction. Because while you want, and while you see, and while it is there waiting for you to take it, your hands are still full. And because you've put so much in and spent so much time with sunk cost benefit, like literally the cost that has already been sunken into a thing, you cannot imagine releasing that thing because the 10 years in it, and if I let it go, I'm going to lose the 10 years. And so you put 10 more in there and end up losing 20. That doesn't sound like good maths to me. So again, we have to think about the psychological things that may be at play that lead us to distracted and undisciplined living and working. We have to take some time and think about that. So if this sounds like you, the only thing that's going to work for you is developing consistency and discipline in your work. When you identify what the essential outcome is that you're going for, and you break it down into your essential actions, and you give yourself a deadline and a timeline to accomplish it by, and you're very clear about what you win when you accomplish this and what you lose or stand to lose when you fail at this goal. And then you do the fifth thing now, the most important thing, which is to establish some accountability. Who is going to keep me in check? Who am I telling what I'm working on so they can check in on me, so they can reprimand me when they see me wasting time and being derailed by what I never agreed to be participating in. So that is not dependent on my mood and my desire to seek the novelty and the newness and something that is more exciting that can take me off task. I have somebody else who is also committing to watching me while I work, supporting me while I work, giving me feedback on my work, and reining me in when I want to stop my work and prevent myself from developing my compound interest and do something that is distracting, something that I could do well in but is still mediocrity, and it is taking me away from my work in excellence. You need accountability. Don't try to take it on, this farm, this garden, this big work that you have to do. No, try to take it on by yourself. Me have accountability everywhere. Everywhere I have accountability. When it comes to my finances, my accountability partner is my mother. Me can't tell my mother no foolishness. Because when I time to talk about my money, and tell her the balances and the spends and the this and the that, me can't. But my mother know me better than I know myself. So always me think me a mislead her. She reached the destination before me. Right? Just the way I go before me even reach there. So I give myself a better chance at being successful because there's somebody else in the room watching what I'm doing. And it raises the standard of performance. Another psychological tool there, the Hawthorne effect. When you make a commitment and other people hear you making it, it raises your need to be consistent with your word. Yes, when you're alone, that's why some we can pray something and make some promise to God and then don't accomplish it, because only God did hear it. God, if you take me through this, I promise that I'm going to stop doing this. God takes you through it and you forget. Say, you're not going to stop, do this. But make the declaration in a church, say, me go give up the smoking, or me go give up the drinking, and pass the area and the prayer warrior area and the worship team area and your spouse area and your children area and God area and everybody area. No, you can't just go out the door, run and back, go light up one cigarette, because people did hear you. And you can't afford to look inconsistent in the eyes of other people. So all if you're inconsistent in a real life, the fact that you know say people are watching to see if you really gonna do what you say you're gonna do, it helps you to become more consistent and thereby accomplish your goal. Hawthorne effect. That is the power of accountability. One, because there's a robust other who you have given authority to keep you in line. So your accountability partner has to be somebody that you respect. You don't have to be afraid of them, but it has to be someone you respect, so that when them talk, you will yield. It has to be somebody who knows and understands you, your peculiarities, your principles, your real ambitions, your habits. So they have to know you too. So when you are say, hey, them realize say, you know, so this are going, I really see and they are going, but them no want to talk it. But me know them long enough to know say I really not able to see and D. So you have to respect them. They have to know you well enough so they can see when you're, you know, tiptoeing around the truth. Maybe not lying directly, but tiptoeing around the truth. Find an accountability partner. But they work best when you have clarity on the essential outcome, the essential action, the deadlines that surround those goals, the consequence if you fail at it, and the benefit or the importance, the purpose behind getting it done. So one of the things we've done inside the Success Farmers Guide, every single month, you are required to outline the essential action plan. I'm showing you the weekly page. Let me go to the month. So there's a monthly section in there that asks you to clarify what you're working on every single month. So every month has this tracker. It's the monthly essential action tracker. And you actually have to grade yourself at the end of each day to see if you accomplished the thing that you said you were going to accomplish for the day or for the week. And we'll guide you. If you purchase a copy of the plan and you're like, Krystal, don't worry. There's a training session that gets you familiarized and properly oriented with the document. So there will be an onboarding for you with the planner. But after you set up your monthly plan, we have a weekly strategy. So we put all of your productivity for the week on one page. We're not trying to give you one day to put 100 something and another day put another 100 something. For the week, what is the essential outcomes? And we're giving you 3 essential outcomes to work towards. We're growing oaks, remember? Not grass. We're not trying to look for something easy to do, you can like and do. The purpose work, the difficult work, the important work that calls you out of your comfort zone and into a space of excellence. So you can't lock your eye and dream up the actions. You have to be strategic. And you also can't do everything at once. You have to pick what you're going to do so you can actually apply the pressure and get the results that you need. Compound effect. So we invite you to identify 3 essential outcomes that you're working towards. And after you identify the outcome, you have to put a deadline to it. And after you put the deadline, you have to tell us the 4 steps to finish, because we're not giving more than 4 steps. You're not, when you do maths, I have to do like 13 steps to show the working out. It's not a maths exam you're doing. There are 4 critical things. Don't go beyond 4. What are the 4 essential things that will get you to accomplishing these goals? We call it 4 to finish. You only have 4 steps. Many think maybe get 10 if you take 10 months to do it, or 15 if you take 3 years. 4 critical important steps. Actions that are income generating or result oriented that actually get you to the goal. We're not on a time for waste, right? The week is gonna end and you need to accomplish maximum the 3 things. If you don't do everything, we're giving you a max of 3 things to accomplish. So your outcome, the deadline, the 4 steps to finish. Then we'll also ask you to explore who your essential actors are. Either people who you have to engage to make progress because they are part of the work, people you have to consult with so you can understand better what work to do, Or if you need accountability, your accountability partner now who needs to be engaged as you're taking on these tasks. And then on that same page at the end of the week, you're doing an assessment. What were the wins? Where did you fail? And what is the next best step? And then we move into the second week now. We apply whatever the next best step is. So we're thinking about essential action. No time for distraction in this planner. No time. Essential action only. Everything else, we have some notes page. You can write a little to-do list. If you're somebody that's addicted to to-do list, you have your to-do list, right? At the end of every month. And at the start of each month, we give you another page again where you can, write out just something then, because maybe that's how you think I have to write it out. But not in your weekly strategic plan. Your essential action plan each week is only about essential actions. Essential outcomes, essential actions, essential actors to get the goal done. Oh, shoot. Rapley. Oh, I was trying to pronounce. Oh, she wins. Right. Because I'm like, that don't sound like the first name is She Wins. She Wins Rapley. Sees the sunflower. Yeah, man. That's my flower. I love sunflowers. They're all over my house. I have like 3 fake ones. Right. But I found a plant that flowers like the sunflower. I forget the name of it now. So I have 2 of those outside. And I see a bloom coming up for one of them. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay, Miss Rapley, you distracted me a little bit. Come back now to the central topic. Right, so our planner is meant to help you short circuit the proclivity if you are a fickle farmer who gets distracted very easily, and there's a ton load of things that you could possibly be doing, and so you always are pursuing a ton load of things, and the essential purposeful work does not get done. If that is you, we got ya. I have to say this. I only have 7 copies of the planner left. If you don't purchase before it finishes, I'm not going to reprint again until, for sure by November. I am not sure yet if I'm doing any in June. So if you wanted to work with the planner to help you overcome that fickle farmer mentality and those fickle habits, you have to purchase it now. I say that if you realize how like my voice go down, because I realize I have over 100 people on the live, and if everybody goes, everybody's not going to get a planner because I really only have 7 left. And I don't know if while I was on this live anybody purchased, and I have less than the 7. But the planner has the tools in there to help you overcome your faithlessness if you are a faithless farmer, your fickleness if you are a fickle and inconsistent farmer. Tomorrow I will explore the 3rd type of farmer. So if you're interested to hear, join me tomorrow. Can't say the time. I know it's going to be night after Zia goes to bed. But we have to figure out who we are and the tools that we need to overcome the bad habits and the proclivities that lead us outside of the purpose into the thing that is distracting and time wasting. You have a limited number of hours, minutes, days, years in your life. It suits you to live each of those days purposefully. It suits you to commit every hour and every minute and every second to your best possible effort and your most purposeful work. In a sense, you waste time and do everything else except what you are placed here to do, because you don't know where the clock is on your life. And if you have the consciousness, if you have the time and the opportunities before you to do your unique ordained work, stop wasting time. Stop wasting time. Indiscipline and inconsistency are going to lock you out of your harvest, and we cannot afford for your precious, beautiful, one-of-a-kind life and energy to be wasted because of indiscipline and inconsistency. We have to get it together. We have to get it together. The planner helps you to do that. But today we also opened our Harvest Hub, which is our group coaching program. So whether or not you have the planner, we're coaching you using some of those same tools month by month to focus on the right thing, the essential thing, and get the outcome that you're looking for. We have to stay focused. And our Harvest Hub, our group coaching program, is meant for people who need some help to stay focused. I got some heartwarming testimonials from farmers from last year around what a little bit of focus did for them, and for others what a whole heap of focus did for them. from completely erasing debt to building new businesses that were to be built for years, scaling and expanding, improving existing businesses and products, and just enjoying their relationships so much more. Just by putting the focus on the area of life that matter to us, the areas that matter to us. Stop the distracted living. Look by yourself, look by your life, look by your goals, look by your work, and commit to purposeful action. The best you can do in the moment, just give it your best. And I've said before, the best will look different for everybody. And every day your best might look different for you. Today your best might be 50% of capacity. Tomorrow your best might be 100%. Friday your best might be 5%. But just do your best and learn to accept and honor your best. But when you're not do the best, you have to just admit, say, a ramping shop, you know, and you need to come out of the ramping shop and get to work, because the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking, and you have something to do. You there for do something. Stop wasting time. Thank you guys for staying with me tonight. I am wrapping up here now and preparing my little self to go to my bed, but I will post this on my page. It will be on for 24 hours, and then I will move it to YouTube, where you can actually search for it. So at any point in time, any year of your life, you want to remember, what did Krystal say about the fickle farmer again? What did Krystal say about the sunk cost benefit? What did she say about the Zeigarnik effect? What did she say about the Hawthorne effect again? You just Google it, not Google. Well, you could Google it, but you can also go on YouTube and find the video directly. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm wishing you an amazing rest of week, rest of night, and of course, a fantastic, flourish-filled 2022. Please take the time to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you never miss when we have fresh, engaging content for you. And be sure to like this video if you actually like the video, and comment below. Tell us if there's a topic you want us to share on in future episodes, or give us your thoughts on this conversation. And please don't forget to share this in your community. If there's anybody you know who could be blessed, empowered, enriched by this message, please share it with them. Thank you in advance. Love, light, and blessings.